2016 was 10 years ago, a year known for poor political choices that we are still dealing with. My comment section is going to be a dumpster fire, and a lot of cool celebrities died. One aspect I don't think is discussed enough was the summer blockbuster season that year. In 2016, the summer blockbuster season was kind of mixed. Despite raking in $4.483 billion, it was less than 2015's $4.484 billion cume. It also had a slew of financial and critical turkeys. While not as trend-setting as, say, the summer of 1982 or 1989, I believe that summer 2016 was an important year not just for the movies, but culture as well. Now let's look at the films that were on offer during the summer of 2016. It was the age of superhero films with Captain America Civil War, Suicide Squad, and X-Men Apocalypse. We had a lot of sequels like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Out of the Shadows, Neighbours 2, Finding Dory, The Conjuring 2, Independence Day Resurgence, Ice Age Collision Course, Star Trek Beyond, Jason Bourne, Mechanic Resurrection, The Purge, Election Year, Now You See Me 2, and Alice Through the Looking Glass. Following up on that, we had remakes and reboots as well. The Ghostbusters reboot, another Ben-Hur adaptation, the live-action Pete's Dragon, the live-action Jungle Book, Steven Spielberg's BFG, and The Legend of Tarzan. 2016 was also a banner year for horror movies, with films like Don't Breathe and Lights Out coming out along with a good glut of animated films like Kubo and the Two Strings, Sausage Pie, and Secret Life of Pets. One of the big film stories that year was the Ghostbusters reboot and the discourse around it. Due to being a reboot of the big 80s nerd property and that it starred women in the main roles, it caused a big old whinge from the internet that led to harassment and online abuse against the cast and crew. This, along with Gamergate in 2014, were one of the first online controversies to gain ground and make enough noise to be noticed outside. It basically created the online grifting industrial complex we have now, and many of those big personalities are still making noise and still grifting. It's also a coincidence of an election year where one party candidate was a woman didn't help but heighten the entire ruckus. It was a flashpoint. A stupid flashpoint. Another big takeaway was that superhero movies were expanding. Captain America Civil War made $1.155 billion at the box office, and it is the most impactful film out of that year's cycle. Not only was it the film that introduced Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther and Tom Holland's Spider-Man, it also showed the Russo brothers could handle a big team-up movie, and thus they got the Avengers Infinity War and Endgame jobs, and are going to helm the upcoming Avengers Doomsday and its sequel Secret Wars. It also saw other superhero franchises try and keep up with the PU if that was Marvel. During the summer, DC tried to course correct after the response to Batman v Superman by making its summer movie Suicide Squad a bit more lighter, which resulted in a notorious round of reshoots being made. These types of shenanigans would plague other DC extended universe movies like Justice League and The Flash down the line. It was also a box office success, raking in $749.2 million and earning a spin-off film in the much better Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, and a sequel, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, which led to the Peacemaker show, and him getting the reins to the DC universe as a whole, with Viola Davis maintaining her role as Amanda Waller in that series. We also had an X-Men film, X-Men Apocalypse, which felt more like an afterthought with the MCU and DCEU chugging along and the X-Men movies feeling a bit passé, especially so much between Deadpool and Logan doing different takes on the superhero genre. It was also at this point the X-Men movies were also trying to be a cinematic universe, but that didn't come into fruition, but that's a story for another time. Horror movies also did well during the 2016 blockbuster season. I mean, horror movies always do well, they're cheap to produce and wield high-end results at the box office. Films like Conjuring 2 and Lights Out did well, and even adjacent films like The Shallows were well received. Animation else did well. Finding Dory was a big hit, but we also had some interesting films like the stop-motion film Kubo and the Two Strings from Leica and the adult-themed Sausage Party. But looking back on the blockbuster season 10 years ago, I feel like there's another element that wasn't talked about much then, but you can still see the effects now. The movies had competition. While films have always had competition before, from the likes of TV and video games, streaming was becoming a big thing around this time. It was during the summer that Netflix's biggest show, Stranger Things, started airing, and other shows were coming out as well with more budgets than a normal TV show. Shows like Game of Thrones were hitting their stride as well. Writing in RogerEbert.com, writer Jessica Ritchie discussed this. The rise of cable networks wanted to spend serious money on shows like Game of Thrones further dents Hollywood's ability to be the main supplier of big stories, but changing trends only excuse so far. Hollywood did itself no favours by making a mid-budget film virtually extinct, requiring themselves to lean on business models where a single film must hit $1 billion to be considered a success. If audiences can't get enough shows like Stranger Things or Outlander, you are not going to win them back with offerings like Legend of Tarzan or Ghostbusters. TV started to get more cinematic, and in doing so started to eat into the cinematic landscape and started to create competition for the movie industry, especially taking the place of the mid-budget movie for the adult crowd. While they did make movies, they didn't find their niche until later years Netflix was starting to get hold in the realm of movies. Most were smaller projects, but it was the start of an era of streaming movies as well. The 2016 summer blockbuster season, which might not be well remembered as, say, the fabled summers of 1982 or 1989, but I believe it was still impactful in other ways that we are still seeing today. Like what you see here? Then please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get more Watch This Space, but also other things such as my short films. Please remember to like and subscribe to the videos you just watched, and also please check out the Orange Bin, my blog, where I have write-ups of my episodes here, which with links to sources that I mention on the show. Also contains some of my old blog posts if you want to see what else I used to do back in the olden days. So please remember to check out my blog and like and subscribe to my YouTube channel.